Okay, so long since I've done a video, I've forgotten what I'm doing. Anyway, let's go. So this is, I don't even know what I'm doing a video on, to be honest. I've got a calculator there and a ruler, so that's okay. So it's the component 3, lower 6th, last questions, question 7, which is, which should be about digestion, I think. Oh yeah, past plant transport, onto digestion. Good-o, so let's do some question reading. So I'm scanning through, and that's always a really good idea, so that you're sort of clocking what's going on. Calculate mean, that's okay then. Variation, no anomalous results, explain that decision. So this is obviously then starting to look like it's going to be about practical techniques. 2 sources of inaccuracy. Why digestion, so a bit of explanation of sort of what's going on, and explain why we didn't choose Pepsin. Okay, so I'm now starting to think, what do I know about Pepsin? So here we go. Pepsin and trypsin are enzymes involved in the digestions of proteins. In the alimentary canals of animals, that just means gut. Both enzymes are endopeptidase. Right, what do I know about endopeptidase? So I'm thinking protein, endo, cutting in the middle to make smaller polypeptides with more ends. A group of students performed an experiment to investigate the effect of an endopeptidase and exopeptidase. So exo, remember they chop off, need a different thing, I'll have a pencil. They chop off at the ends. So there, there, on the digestion of protein in milk powder. As the protein is digested, the solution becomes clear. So here we've got milk colour to clear. So we've got a colour change going on here, which is always a bit tricky to measure, but let's have a see. Equal volumes and concentrations of the enzyme solutions, so they're control variables, added to equal volumes and concentrations of milk powder, so that's a control variable. pH was maintained, control variable, pH 8 buffer. So I'm thinking here now, that's the stomach, small intestine, this is pH 1, and this is sort of pH 8 to 10, depending on where you are in it. So it's told me pepsin and trypsin up here, so that's pepsin in the stomach, and this will be trypsin in the small intestine. Time taken for the solution to become clear. Alright, so they're just timing it. Good. Calculate the mean time for the milk solution with endopeptidase. Insert your answer in the table above. This is my command. So no matter what I do in that gap there, the command is stick the number in there. If I don't do that, I'm not going to get the mark. So mean, add everything up, 43 plus 77 plus 69 plus 88 plus 52 plus 47 plus 109 plus 61 plus 83 plus 38, 667, and I want to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why couldn't they have given those numbers? Oh, I can do that in my head. So I'm just going to now, because I do sometimes misread, mistype, and otherwise pick it up, calculations. So I always check my calculations twice until I get 2 answers that are the same. Yay! So 6. Oh, I can't divide by 10 in my head. Look, I've put 6.67 and it should be 6.7. See, that's the value of checking. Dr. Saville said, "Ooh, round it up." And why am I rounding it up? I'm rounding it up because what he's noticed and I haven't is that those are to whole numbers. So I'm going to cross that out and replace it with 67. Always read the question. Okay, so the results show a great deal of variation. You're not kidding me, 38 through to 109. However, it was decided there were no anomalous results. So I'm thinking now, why is that not an anomaly? Why is that not an anomaly? Explain why this decision was made. That's my command word. Explain. So if we're not looking at the variation across there, we need to be looking at trends across here. So 43, 74, 19. So it goes small, big, small, 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 small, big... I can't say that anymore. So each set of results, each student that's done it has got the same trend. So explaining each student's results show the same trend. And now I'm already thinking, oh, okay, so why are they all so different? And this will be our sources of inaccuracy in the experimental method. So we've been given a load of control volumes here, of control variables. So we've got volumes and concentrations and pH, but they haven't controlled temperature. So if one of them was next to a radiator and one of them was next to an open window, that could cause this big variation. So what's it say? It suggests two sources of inaccuracy, but I've got 4 marks, so I've got to do something else. Give one way of improvement. So I'm going to put temperature was not controlled. I've just realised that what I used to do on videos was put block capitals so you could read it. Do you know what? Tough, get used to the writing. This could be improved by using a thermostatically controlled water bath. Now, you're never going to get a mark for putting a water bath. It's got to be thermostatically controlled or it doesn't help at all. Other things, well, it's deciding, isn't it? If you're not actually measuring in a colorimeter or something when it's gone clear, it's actually making that decision. So some slightly impatient people like myself might go, oh, close enough. I know it's not quite clear, but I'm going to count that. And that could vary between the groups of students. So it is difficult. This goes for kind of any colour changing experiment really, to determine an end point. And my improvement, you could use a colorimeter. What else have they done? Mixture of them. I think they're your best two, really. I mean, you could say, when do you start the stop clock? Do you start it as soon as they're mixed? And then if you've mixed them and you're doing it separately, that's a bit of an issue. But I think your best two, top two answers, will be the temperature's not controlled and your end point. And I would stick to those. So, explain, that's my command word. why digestion was more rapid when using the enzyme mixture than the individual. So here we need to say something about how those enzymes act. So I'm back up here in my information, and the endopeptidases hydrolyzes, that's the correct biological term, isn't it? So breaking bonds, hydrolyzes peptide bonds inside the polypeptide. Oh, can't spell chain. Exopeptidases. Can't spell either. Hydrolyze peptide bonds at the ends. I'm just going to call those terminal bonds. I like that, it all sounds very fatal. In the mixture, so if we look at the difference between these, that's endopeptidases, exopeptidases. The idea is here that the exopeptidases have more ends. So the endopeptidase makes more ends for the exopeptidases to work on. So protein is broken down faster. Phew. Last question. Explain. I need to give a reason why pepsin was not the endopeptidase chosen. Not. Why didn't we choose pepsin? So, it's an endopeptidase for certain, but we've actually controlled the pH at 8, so it just wouldn't work. So, need to say something about its optimum and why it wouldn't work. So, pepsin has an optimum pH of, I'm going to put 1 because it's an easy number to write. So in the experimental conditions, of pH 8 would be denatured. Job's a good one. Okie dokie.